Alright everyone, you had your nice and beautiful hiatus from Idiot Land, but we are back. We are back here with episode 11 of the Megatech DLC series, where I'm going to be confused and stupid again, so like in the last one, we built this generator system over here, and that was a great thing, because, it was like, hey, now we don't have to worry about power ever again. But here in episode 11, we are coming back to the Biodome, and, it's like, hey, this is the third episode about the Biodome, so it's like, when are we going to be done with it? Well, now. That's when. We're going to be done with it after this one, because all we're doing in this one is making sure that we actually automate the dang thing, so that we don't have to do anything with it again ourselves, and then we can get whatever resources we need from it not manually, right? Not manually. That was the whole point, is to not do it manually. You see what I'm saying, hopefully, and so we have to worry about doing that, and that's precisely what we're going to get into. But yes, if we actually want to automate this thing, we need to consider exactly what it is we need in order to automate this thing. And so that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to take a look at the various things just right here in this panel that actually exist. And my assumption is that we don't actually need every single bit of it. But, it's like, what do I know in this life? And so we're just going to scroll through here, and then whenever I feel like I have a solid idea of what's going on, I will be back. Alright, so as of right very now, I feel like the only thing we necessarily need is going to be the auto planter right here, and the auto harvester right here, right? Because, for me, it's like, if it, if it picks up the plants automatically, and it plants them back down automatically, everything else is probably just a luxury past that. And so we're going to worry about those, and then maybe we'll fool around with other things afterwards. But the key takeaway here for me is that I need to combine the resources we need to gather both of those, because if there's any overlap in the types of resources we need for both, we don't want to waste our time, gathering those in two separate lists. So we're going to combine the lists, then come back here and craft both at once. It should be fairly easy, and we're going to get going with that right very now. So I'm going to sort of, AFK here while I make that list, and I'll come back and read it off. All right, I'm back, and I have made the resource list right now, so I'm actually in an alternate tab reading this off right now. We have 32 steel we need, 16 resin, 24 aluminum, 24 graphite, and 4 tungsten carbide. Now, this should be extremely easy. For the first time in my life, we have it extremely easy, and we love extremely easy because that means that the video should be fairly straightforward, which is a rarity for me. And so what we're going to do here is we're sort of going to try to figure out, what's the most expensive things we're going to have to make, and then we're going to get them going so that while we gather the cheap things, we are waiting on the more expensive things. Because if we do it in the other order, our entire life we'll be waiting, and it'll be a bunch of wasted time. We don't like a bunch of wasted time. My bad. Alright, well, let's just get started. Well, I thought it was all sunshine and rainbows, but as I live and breathe, we actually do not have any scrap at all, really. We only have 8. And the thing about 8 scrap is that it's not going to be enough to get us anything we need right now. And so we're going to have to go after some scrap, unfortunately, but it should be quite easy, because all I got to do is just, as usual, as all the time, I got to get a bunch of soil with the rover, and then we're going to turn that soil into scrap. So it should be a fairly straightforward process. It's just that I have to actually do it that I don't like. But yes, what I've done is I have steeled my automatic trade platform to anything item setup. That was not English. Look, what I'm saying is usually it's soil over here to scrap right here to a trade platform. But now it's just soil to scrap, and then we store the scrap in our large resource canister. And so now all I gotta do is actually get the soil. And so in an uncharacteristic moment for me, I'm going to waste no time here and actually do that right now. We're gonna gather the soil. Alright, so yeah, I couldn't really think of a better time to mention this, so I will mention it now. For those of you who didn't see my community post yesterday, and for those of you who are not going to be watching until the end of this video, this is actually the last episode in the series, unfortunately, because my genius of a self accidentally deleted the save at the end of this while trying to duplicate it to create a backup, effectively doing the exact opposite of what was intended. A very unfortunate thing, but the truth. We are back! What a precious thing, and we have 72 times 3 soil. The reason I haven't told you how much that is, because I don't know off the top of my head. I don't know how much it is. Just kidding, of course I do. It's 216 soil just right here. And so what we're going to do is we are going to sacrifice 2 of these to our scrap, and each one of them is going to become scrap. So we have 72 times 2, 148 scrap that we are fixing to have right here. Actually, plus the 6 that's in this, which I should have already let go while I was away. But you may note that I'm not the wisest, not the sharpest. That's just not who I am. And so we're going to let that go. Then we're going to have this 142, forgot the number. But look, we're going to have a whole lot of scrap after this. Certainly plenty to finish this video off, no problem. And then this right here is going to go to the soil centrifuge on our home base because, you know, you gotta have soil to use that thing. But yeah, I'm gonna sit here until the last of this finishes out, and then I'm going to put these on there in their place. Then we're gonna go to the home planet and do the cheap stuff first, which I didn't want to do. I wanted to do the expensive stuff first so that while we were waiting on that, we could make the cheap stuff. But I'm gonna do like the same thing, except it's this we're waiting on instead, right? So while we're waiting on all this scrap to become, we're just going to make everything that we can make without scrap right now, which, you know, maybe it's not a whole lot, but it'll knock it out of the way, right? It'll be no problem anymore, and so that's what we'll do. All right, got this thing right here, and so we should have plenty of soil to do whatever we need to here on the home planet base, and actually kind of forgot to undo all of this mess right here. A very unfortunate thing, I must say. But look, we're going to put it back. For those of you who don't know, this is from the last episode where we crafted all those medium generators over there, and, you know, you see all these, we really didn't want to, you know, we didn't want to have to do those with one printer, so I made 8, which maybe was a little overkill, I shall confess, but that's why this system's like that. It was just a way for us to craft a whole bunch of those. No big deal. Alright, well, I just took a look at the list again, and I realized that actually the only thing we should be getting in the soil centrifuge is resin, and so we're just gonna get that going right now for both of these soil centrifuges right here, but the reason it doesn't really matter that much, that the only thing we have to get with the soil centrifuge is resin right now is because, I actually, like, just now, before I started recording here again, I went AFK for a long time, so the scrap should be made. So even though the rest of everything we're going to be getting is going to be gotten with the scrap, well, we don't actually have to wait on that anymore because I was gone for so long. Yes, it is just as I thought. We, in fact, have 156 scrap right here. It has gone down just as we wanted it to. So we're going to take this back to the home planet, and we should, like, actually already have everything we need pretty much, with one exception to my knowledge. And that exception would be the argon that we need for the steel, but that's okay, because we're grabbing that right very now. This here is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 5 argon. 25 argon, which is not enough for the 32 steel we need, but that's okay, because I already have a little bit of argon at home. So this will be everything we need now, because we have all the scrap, and we have all the argon. So, you know, we can use these two things to get the rest of what we need. All right, so if you look right here, we have some argon already here on the base. I just got to find it and actually put it where it goes. I keep getting it mixed up with the helium here because it looks very similar. But if we combine the argon we already have here, which is going to be 8, with the argon in our backpack here, we are actually going to have 33, and we need 32, so guess you could say that was a close one. Realistically, it wouldn't have been a big deal anyways because we could have just went back to Glacio and gotten what we needed. And so I guess if we're being honest with each other, which sounds useful enough to me, that's going to be pretty simple now because that's the only thing we had to actually go get. As I said before, we have all the scrap over there, and so I'm going to go over the list again so that it's, you know, abundantly clear exactly what it is that we're going to need for the remainder of this. Here on the list, we have 32 steel, 16 resin, 24 aluminum, 24 graphite, and 4 tungsten carbide. That's the entire list again. Now, we already got the resin. That's the only thing we needed to get with the soil centrifuge, which is, like, kind of weird and kind of unexpected, I suppose. And so, just to lay this out for you as simply as possible, the way this is going to go now is that we need, you know, 24 aluminum, 24 graphite. We're simply, very simply, going to get those with the trade platform. And so, I kind of just want to go ahead and get that right now so that we can get that out of the way, and it won't be a big deal at all, so that the list gets simplified as soon as possible. So, 24 graphite, 24 argon. Alright, family, we are back, and we have got all the stuff we need here. 24 graphite, 24 aluminum, and 16 resin. Now then, I just said we got all the stuff we need here. You know what I mean. I got the stuff that I said I was going to get before the next cut, and so, I hate to keep doing this over and over again, but I do want to keep it very clear where we are at, okay? All we have left to get is 32 steel and 4 tungsten carbide. Now then, 4 tungsten carbide is one of those things in life that I already have everything I need for, so we're just going to worry about the steel. A logical first question to ask, though, is how much steel do we actually need? Well, if you look right here, we have a medium resource canister. The reason I point this out is because each medium resource canister can actually hold 32 items. Now, this is relevant because we need 32 steel, which is perfect. That means all we gotta do is just fill one of these up with steel perfectly in the end. That'll be enough. But what it also means is that if we gather one medium resource canister full of every item we need for steel, then we can just use those to craft one steel in the end, right? So, like, we're going to set our steel here to automatically craft at this button and get it going just like that. And you'll notice that we need iron and carbon. And so if we get 32 of both of those, one medium resource canister full of each, it's going to very simply allow us to just put those medium resource canisters right on these parts of the platform right here and simply have things go just as we want like that. And then the argon we'll have to feed on individually, you know, as a separate thing, but that's really not that big of a deal. But yes, the boogeyman of this video, if you will, the big time scary. Well, actually, I guess the big time scary was actually just us gathering a bunch of scrap. But past that, the big time scary is just us getting a bunch of iron, but I'll have you know that's not going to be a big deal at all. We have the medium resource canister right here. We're just going to let it take in the iron just like that. And then we just keep on trading for it in the trade platform right here. And then, you know, it's no big deal at all. And so, honestly, I'm just going to off-camera that as well because it's pretty much said and done right now, if I'm being honest with you. Not much left with that. And then, obviously, as you know, because we went over it earlier, we're getting the organic as well. I'm just going to smelt that. And then, as you also know from earlier, another thing I mentioned is that we have everything we need for the tungsten carbide. So, I guess basically what I'm getting at here is when I come back, we are going to have everything we need for this. No problem at all. Hey there, beautiful. And we got everything as well, so that's great. We have the tungsten carbide here on something different because, you know, there's just not much of it. Why would I put it in a medium resource canister when there's such a small amount? It just doesn't make any sense at all. Anyways, as I said, we gathered everything we needed for both of them, so I'm sort of just going to scroll through this list right here and see what exactly I need for each so that I can put that stuff, you know, like actually on there individually. It would make a whole lot more sense that way if I'm the one who's being asked. All right, I kind of just noticed that it's like the exact same except for one of them takes tungsten carbide instead. Wow, I promise I tried to say that correctly, but I failed. And so, look, we're going to go ahead and play I'm doing it again. I can't talk. We are going to craft the auto planter is what I was trying to say, but that's not my strong suit, you know, saying anything ever. Anyways, I am dying because I ran out of oxygen there, but I'm going to come back over here and see if this son of a gun is crafted. It's not, so guess I kind of came over here for nothing. Awkward times for everybody. Don't know how long this is going to take. And that would be forever because my genius of a self realized that I upgraded the Biodome a couple episodes ago. You know, our power, it's not plugged in to the actual Biodome here. It was plugged into the thing that upgrades it to separate systems, you might note. Yeah, but with that corrected, it should craft pretty quickly, I would imagine right now, because I can't imagine there's a lot that goes into it. Or so I thought. But, well, guess I've been wrong before. Guess I usually am. Guess I'll never find any happiness or crafted materials in this world. So I canceled the crafting because I thought maybe it was bugged out. And it appears I was correct. It was bugged out because guess what it decided to do? It said, we're going to delete everything you just crafted. Yeah. That's what it said. And so for those of you who maybe you don't like really understand what just happened was that the last hour and a half of my life, well, it's all gone. And so I'm going to do everything I just did, all of it, off camera again. Have mercy on my soul. I have to get everything back. Everything. Alright, I admit it, I was being a little bit dramatic. On the one hand, it did delete 3 of our resource canisters with everything in it. But for some reason, it actually left our steel, which, by the way, really appreciate that, by the way. That's actually, I don't know why it left just the steel, but it did leave the steel, which was a huge deal. And then, you know, like, of course, we had all the scrap still. We had plenty of scrap to actually still do this. And so, I'm gonna freaking lose. We are going to reluctantly and with great fear, give this one more shot. Please craft my stuff without ruining my whole life, the entire thing. I'm not going to cancel it this time because, well, I guess you could say I've decided it's not worth the risk, right? Not worth the risk at all. Not even a little bit. Now, the reason I canceled it last time is because it seemed to be taking a long time to actually do anything at all. And the thing is, it kind of seems that way again. I've been taking a look around here, and I don't see any visible happenings. So I'm assuming that whenever it's done, it's just going to spit out the thing it's supposed to be making. But again, it's like, what's that? And, or rather, I guess, when is that, right? When's that going to happen? Doesn't look like it's ever going to happen. Maybe we can, like, sort of peek through here, and look on the inside. Is anything happening? Nope. Well, that's giving me all the confidence in the world right there. Hey there! Just thought I would jump back in here to tell you that I'm probably the stupidest person on planet Earth. If you see right here, it's actually slowly taking each resource one by one. See? Right there. It just took some of our aluminum. And so, I'm less scared now, though I would definitely recommend not interrupting the process because that was, in fact, a bug that ruined my life. A lot of bugs in Megatech I've heard. This is the first one I've ran into, at least the first game-breaking one, but that's not like a huge deal in this particular instance because it left the steel. I don't know why it left the steel, but I'm glad it left the steel. All right, we are back, and our beautiful auto planter is right here, which is our favorite thing on planet Earth because now we actually get to get something going in this video. So I'm going to do like a wisdom move, right? And take this here tungsten carbide, put it on here, and then I can actually get this thing crafting right very now. Right very now. Whenever I find... Where's it at? Oh, I see. I have to put it in a resource canister for it to work. Might be the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life, but that's okay. We'll just do that. We will put all the tungsten carbide in a resource canister for no reason so that we can actually get everything in this life to work just fine. Look, it's okay. We'll let it be. Let's get the auto harvester crafting while we do figure out whatever the heck this thing here does. So it automatically plants seeds in the biodome from canisters attached to it. And so... I guess I just unpack it, right? And then we'll figure out the rest, like as in where do I place it at? So it's upside down. Now we don't really like this thing upside down, but it would appear that I cannot control that at all. Assume that the reason it's upside down is because maybe it places on the ceiling or something. So, oh, wisdom, my phenomenal wisdom. All right, we're gonna turn this sucker on. Then you'll note that nothing happened because that right there is actually the auto planter. Yeah, it would make sense that that's not actually going to do anything at all yet since we have to harvest everything first. Okay, yeah, and as I suspect, okay, this is where we put the seeds at, is on this thing right here. So, typically that would be kind of annoying because it's like, oh, you know, we got to get all these seeds in life. How do we live with that? Well, the way we live with that, quite simply, is by using the seeds of the dead plants in here that we already have, right? We'll just harvest these up and we will throw their seeds in a large resource canister. And I'm going to do that off camera style because let's be friggin' honest, right? That doesn't sound like the most fun thing. All right, we got all of our seeds over here in this thing right now, and it's holding 61. Which, you know, like, I got all the seeds from this thing, and that's where I got them from, you know? Like, was in here. And I'm just trying to figure out, you know? Like, how you get 61 seeds from here. It seems like it would be like 60 or a more perfect number. But I don't know. Look, I don't want to get too lost on that, but it's like, I just want to understand how that could be so, right? That's weird. But yeah, time to place this son of a gun up here to see exactly how this thing works. And so I guess what I'll do is, oh, it's already working. Thought I had to turn it on. I do have to turn it on, but I already did. So it kind of ruined the element of surprise there on that. Anyways, it is throwing them out and planting them quite slowly, but don't guess that matters because if we had the auto harvester harvesting them as soon as they grew, it would kind of just be like a constant loop of them being picked up quite slowly, but then being placed down quite slowly. But in the end, it's kind of just as fast as if we planted them all at once and harvested them all at once, if that makes sense. It probably doesn't because I was the one responsible for explaining it, but since it took us so long to get all those seeds up and everything, we now have the auto harvester as well. So I think it would be appropriate for us to go ahead and get this thing placed down as well and see how it goes. I'm going to assume that it would be most wise for me to not even turn this one on until we have a large resource canister for it as well, though. So that's what we're going to do before we actually turn it on. Let me get one of those. All right, mission success. And so we're going to go ahead and pick the son of gun up, put it straight up there, and get this rocking and rolling, if you will. You probably won't, and I would understand if that is the case. So we're going to get this turned on right now, and now it is going... Oh, hang on. Gotta keep an eye on that sucker. And as I suspected... Okay, well, never... What? It can't be that slow. There's no way. It goes down and comes back up for each one. Well, I'm gonna be honest, I expected something slightly more efficient, but I guess if it's automated and it's going all the time, that beats doing it by hand by a whole lot anyways. And so, color me all kinds of beautiful happy. We're gonna see exactly what's going on here because, you know, it's like, yeah, toting the seeds, which is a necessary thing, right? You have to hold the seeds if we're going to get the seeds back to plant them. But something you might note in this life is that the Attactus, which is what we're placing, can give you compound sometimes as well. So I'm trying to figure out, you know, like, when does the compound get harvested by the auto harvester, and how do we get our hands on it when it does if it's not storing up there? Maybe I'm not smart enough to figure that out. It's entirely possible. Oh, wait a second. I think I just kind of figured it out, which it's like a very weird and like, it's complicated, but look, it is placing the compound up here, which is our favorite thing on planet Earth, a great thing. But the problem is that it also places the seeds up here. However, the seeds automatically get taken over here to the other side where they get placed in this canister so that can be used to place the seeds in the actual biodome. So basically what we need is, we need a bunch of resource canisters for the compound, which is what I assumed, so I brought back a full thing of them, but then I kind of realized that the seeds automatically go where they're supposed to the other side, so what we kind of need is just a medium storage for the seeds to get on. And then we need to keep these resource canisters right here for the actual compound. So, I mean, like, I'm kind of speaking in theory here, which means I'm probably incorrect because that's how I operate. Moment of truth, though, we are going to put the medium storage on this thing just like that, and then put this thing up there. Just lied to you because we can't put it up there with the compound in the way. Try again. We're going to put it up there. Oh, yeah, it seeds in the way. Okay, we got it this time. We have it placed up there just like that. And so, the seeds are going in the canisters, which is not really what we wanted. And so here I am trying to come up with a clean way to fix this, and all I have so far is a disgusting method, which is to purge the seeds from every resource canister they're trying to take from right now. Then we're going to manually put compound in each of them. Just one compound in each of them after we turn them off just like that. And so yeah, this right here is what one might call disgusting activity. It's completely filthy because it's not like a fully automated way to do this. It's like an almost fully automated way. It's a close look. I don't know. I'm just one man. If anyone knows why it is that I'm stupid here, well, I guess why is their own question. I don't think anyone could answer that. If anyone knows what it is I did wrong is what I'm trying to say. Feel free to tell me in the comments down below, and we may expand from this thing to do some wild stuff later with other resources, because, you know, we're gathering compound in these right now. Compound, it's nice. We like compound. We like to have it, but there are better resources that you can actually get than compound using this system, as some of you probably already know. And I don't really know exactly what those resources are myself, but I do know that that is the case. And so, yeah, if anyone has any suggestions related to this thing, definitely feel free to leave them down below in the comments. I'm basically trying to extend my outro to where it's long enough for me to actually get all this compound put in these resource canisters, because I want to get that done before I stop right now. And that's just the way I am. It's kind of like a foolish kind of fool. I'm a fool. Look, I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you enjoyed it so much. And I hope you stick around for the rest of the series, which is over, by the way. Yes, the entire series is over. Just accidentally. So look, I went to, I had the save over here, right? And I went to duplicate it, and I missed. Because they put them right beside each other. Now look, I'm not trying to hate on any devs, but I will say I question that design. That's a terrible thing. That's a terrible way to end a series, is that I deleted the save. Now, like, before I get any scrutiny, because, look, I know, right? You go to delete a save like this, you click delete, it says, are you sure, pretty much, right? It makes you, like, verify that that's actually what you want to do. What you have to understand is, I'm trying to get this done quick, so, like, I hit duplicate, and I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna come up here and hit this, right? But instead of hitting that, I hit the confirm on the delete, right? I hit the confirm on the delete, instead of, because I didn't hit duplicate, I hit delete instead. So, gosh, it's over.